Hey everyone, before we dive in, please hit that subscribe button to support my channel and stay updated with more stories like this one. Now, let's get started. I'm Sarah, and today I'm sharing a story called Judy's Tale. It begins with a moment I overheard in my sister's backyard. I wish she'd had an accident and couldn't make it. Laughter erupted from my entire family. I didn't walk away. Instead, I stepped inside, acting as if everything was fine. But the next day, everything shifted. My name is Judy and I'm 45, living by myself in a cozy house in Portland, Oregon. 5 years ago, my marriage ended, not in a messy way, just two people realizing they wanted different paths. We divided our assets evenly and moved on. My ex-husband found love again, remarried, and relocated to California. I was genuinely happy for him. One regret lingers. I was never able to have kids. We tried for years, but it didn't happen. After the divorce, I accepted it and poured my energy into other parts of my life. I still had my family, my parents, both in their 70s and healthy, and my younger sister, Kelly, who's 38. Kelly was always the golden child. She married young, had two wonderful kids, Emma, 14, and Tyler, 10, and built a picture-perfect life. After my divorce, I was financially secure. My ex and I had worked hard and saved well. The house I kept was fully paid off, and my savings and investments were substantial. I didn't need to work anymore, living comfortably off the interest. I traveled occasionally, volunteered at a local food bank, and gave to causes I cared about. I tried to be a supportive aunt and daughter, always there when my family needed me. A few years back, Kelly and her husband needed help with a down payment for their house. I handed over $40,000 from my savings. They seemed so thankful, or so I thought. That late summer Saturday, Kelly hosted a family barbecue at the house I'd helped her buy. I baked a peach pie, my specialty, and arrived around 2 p.m. As I approached the backyard gate, pie in hand, I heard voices. Just as I reached for the latch, Kelly's voice rang out. "Where's Judy?" Someone mumbled a reply, too quiet to catch. Then Kelly laughed and said, "I hope she got into a crash and can't show up." Laughter followed, my mom's, my dad's, Kelly's husband Mark's, even the kids. I froze, my heart racing, clutching the pie. For a moment, I considered leaving, but I didn't. I pushed open the gate and walked in, pretending I'd heard nothing. No one greeted me. No smiles, no hellos. This wasn't new, but I'd always brushed it off, telling myself I was overreacting. I set the pie on the food table and took a seat in an empty folding chair at the far end. My parents, seated at the opposite end, gave me a brief nod. Nothing more. Kelly and Mark stayed by the grill, ignoring me. Emma and Tyler ran by without a glance. For 3 hours, I sat there, sipping water, watching everyone else eat, laugh, and talk as if I were invisible. When the barbecue wound down, I helped clean up, clearing plates, wiping tables, tossing trash. No one thanked me. My pie was gone, every slice eaten, yet no one mentioned it. I said a quiet goodbye to no one in particular and left. At home, I collapsed into bed, still in my clothes, replaying Kelly's words. "I hope she got into a crash and can't show up." And the laughter. The next morning, over coffee at my kitchen table, I reflected on everything I'd done for my family. The $40,000 for Kelly's house was just the start. I'd paid $3,000 for Emma's braces, $1,500 for Tyler's school computer, $20,000 for my parents' new roof. I'd covered family trips, bought birthday and Christmas gifts, helped with car repairs and medical bills. And this was how they felt about me. They wished I'd been hurt. I called my friend Rachel, a lawyer specializing in inheritance and estate planning, who'd helped me during my divorce. "Rachel, it's Judy," I said. "Can we meet? I need advice." She told me to bring all my documents, wills, powers of attorney, everything. The next day, I sat in her office and poured out the story of the barbecue, Kelly's words, and my years of financial support. Rachel listened patiently. When I finished, she reviewed my papers. "This $40,000 you gave Kelly for the house," she said. "Is there a loan agreement or anything in writing?" I shook my head. It was a gift. Rachel sighed. "Legally, you can't reclaim it. It was a gift with no strings attached. My stomach dropped. So Kelly kept the money after what she said? I'm afraid so, Rachel replied. But we can ensure she gets nothing more. We can update your will and revoke any powers of attorney. I sat there, processing the loss of $40,000. But at least I could protect the rest. Back home, I felt a small sense of relief, but the anger lingered. I pulled out my file cabinet and examined every document, my will, power of attorney, insurance beneficiary forms. Kelly had access to everything. She was my power of attorney, could make medical decisions if I was incapacitated, could tap into my bank accounts, and was the primary heir in my will. My parents were secondary heirs, and Emma and Tyler were listed too. Seeing their names made me feel ill. These people who wish me harm stood to inherit everything. The next morning, I returned to Rachel's office with my folder. I want to revoke Kelly's power of attorney, I said. And I want my parents, Kelly, Emma, and Tyler out of my will. Rachel studied me. Are you certain, Judy? Absolutely, I replied. She asked who I wanted as heirs instead. I wasn't sure yet, maybe a professional executor or charities, but definitely not them. We spent hours revising every document, removing Kelly's powers, striking my family from my will, and changing my beneficiary designations. I signed everything, Rachel notarized it, and I left with copies, feeling lighter, like I'd finally shielded myself. That afternoon, I called a locksmith. He changed the locks on my front and back doors and gave me new keys, none of which I'd share with my family. The next day, I visited my bank and met with Susan, the manager I'd known for years. Check all authorized users on my accounts, I told her. She pulled up my file. Your sister Kelly is the only authorized cardholder. Remove her immediately, I said. Cancel her card, delete her from my accounts, reissue everything in my name only, and update my security questions, login, and password. Susan, surprised but professional, handled it all in an hour. I left the bank feeling even stronger. Hours later, my phone rang. It was Kelly, her voice sharp. Judy, what's going on? My card was declined when I tried to buy school supplies. I can't access your account. That's because I removed you, I said calmly. What? Why? She demanded. Because I heard you at the barbecue, I replied. You said you hoped I'd been in an accident. I heard everyone laugh. Your kids, our parents. Silence. Then you must have misheard, she said. I'm not deaf, Kelly, I shot back. I'm done being your bank. Don't call me again. I hung up. Soon, my parents and Mark called, then texted. My mom said I was unreasonable. My dad called me dramatic. Mark told me to think of the kids. I ignored them all. The next day, I met with David Thompson, a real estate lawyer Rachel recommended. I brought all my house documents, deed, tax records, repair bills. I want to put my house in a trust, I said. No family member should have access, now or after I'm gone. David suggested a lifetime trust, with me as trustee and beneficiary while alive. After my death, the house would be sold and the proceeds donated to charity. And remove Kelly from any property-related beneficiary designations, I added. We spent nearly 2 hours finalizing the trust, signing papers, and setting terms. David handed me the trust package, advising me to keep it safe. I thanked him and left. As I got home, a car pulled up. Kelly and Mark stormed to my door, knocking loudly. Judy, we need to talk. Kelly shouted. I stayed silent. She tried her old key. It didn't work. She changed the locks. Kelly exclaimed, pounding harder. I turned on the TV, cranked the volume, and watched a baking show while they yelled. Eventually, they left. Days later, an unknown number called. Hesitantly, I answered. And Judy, it was Emma. Mom and Dad say you've gone crazy and won't talk to them. What's wrong? I took a breath. Do you remember what your mom said at the barbecue? That she hoped I'd been in an accident? A pause. Yeah, Emma said. I laughed too, but I thought it was just a joke. It wasn't a joke to me, I said. I learned how my family really feels, and I'm done helping people who wish me harm. Emma's voice softened. I'm so sorry, Aunt Judy. I didn't mean to hurt you. She was only 14, caught up in the moment. Come over tomorrow, I said. We should talk. Emma arrived the next day, nervous at my doorstep. I invited her in, and we sat in the living room. I'm really sorry, she said again. I shouldn't have laughed. It was cruel. You're 14, I said. You didn't think it through. Your mom's the adult. She should have known better. Emma nodded, genuinely remorseful. I still love you, Emma, I said. But I need time before I can forgive you. I'll wait, she replied. We talked about school, her dreams, her friends. It felt almost normal. When she left, I felt a bit lighter. Over the next few days, my family kept showing up. My parents knocked, calling me ridiculous for cutting them off over one comment. I didn't respond. Kelly and Mark came next, banging on the door, calling me crazy for destroying our family. I turned up the TV and ignored them. After a few more visits, I realized I'd never have peace here. They knew where I lived and could appear any time. I needed to leave. I contacted Tom, a realtor who'd helped me sell a rental property years ago. I want to sell my house and buy a smaller apartment, I said. Something comfortable but simple, and I need it done fast and discreetly. My family can't know. Within 2 weeks, Tom found a perfect apartment in a new neighborhood, 2 bedrooms, a nice kitchen, plenty of light. We closed quickly. I packed gradually, keeping it subtle, and moved out in one day with movers. I didn't share my new address with anyone, not my parents, not Kelly, not even Emma. The apartment cost less than my house's value, so the difference boosted my savings. My old house was left empty for its new owners. 2 weeks later, Kelly texted from an unknown number. We went to your house and saw you sold it. Where are you? We need to know. I didn't reply. A week after that, my parents emailed calling me irrational, saying I'd abandoned them and they were ashamed. They ended with, "Don't come crawling back if you need help." I read it, deleted it, and moved on. If that's how they felt, I didn't need them either. I cut contact with my parents, Kelly and Mark, but kept in touch with Emma. We met at coffee shops, but I never shared my address to avoid her parents finding out. For her 15th birthday, I gave her a card with $500 at our usual cafe. Use it for something you need, I said. I'll save it for a college laptop, she replied, grateful. She mentioned her parents' struggles, Kelly's second job, Mark's overtime, trouble with the mortgage and insurance. I felt a twinge of sympathy, but mostly indifference. I helped them for years, I told her. The $40,000 for the house, your braces, Tyler's computer, your grandparents' roof, and they wished I'd been in an accident. They can handle things themselves now. Emma nodded. I get it. 6 months later, I'd settled into my new life. I volunteered at the food bank twice weekly, took a painting class, and traveled to Vancouver for a weekend. I was content living alone, free to do what I wanted. Then the charity foundation I'd worked with called about a fundraiser for homeless families. I'd like to donate instead, I said. $100,000. The woman on the phone paused. That's incredibly generous, Judy. Are you sure? Yes, I said. I'd planned to give Kelly that amount for her 40th birthday, but now it would help families who truly value it. I sent the money the next day and received a heartfelt thank you letter detailing how many families it would support. A year after moving, I'd built a life that was mine. I woke up when I chose, ate what I wanted, and spent my time freely. No one called me unreasonable or showed up demanding things. I kept volunteering, joined a library book club, started yoga, and made friends who liked me for me, not my money. Emma and I met regularly. She was excelling in school, planning for college, and never asked for money, though I sometimes gave her small gifts. One day, she said Tyler asked why I stopped coming around. I told him the truth, she said. Mom said something cruel, and you didn't want to be around people who treated you like that. Tyler felt bad. She added, he'd laugh because others did, not understanding. He's young, I said. He didn't know better. Will you ever forgive them? Emma asked. Maybe someday, I replied. But forgiveness doesn't mean letting them back in. I heard through Emma that Kelly and Mark were still struggling. The mortgage was tough. Kelly was exhausted from 2 jobs, and Mark worked overtime constantly. They'd cut cable and scaled back. I felt a flicker of pity, but no regret. They'd chosen to treat me like a cash machine and wished me harm. My parents sent another email 6 months later, calling me a disappointment, and saying I should be ashamed for abandoning them. I deleted it without replying. They'd also been bad-mouthing me to friends, claiming I'd gone crazy, and cut them off for no reason. I didn't care. The people who mattered knew the truth. At the 18-month mark, Kelly sent a letter, likely getting my address from Emma. She apologized for the barbecue comment, calling it a bad joke, and said she missed me and wanted to reconnect. But then she wrote about their financial struggles, the kids' school needs, and her hope I'd help. Even her apology was a plea for money. I tossed it in the trash. 2 years after the barbecue, I sat in my apartment and realized I was truly happy. I had peace, friends who valued me, and meaningful activities. I had enough money to live well and support causes I cared about. I didn't need my family, and they didn't need me, except for my wallet. I thought of my ex-husband, with whom I'd stayed cordial. We exchanged Christmas cards but didn't discuss personal matters. I appreciated how we'd parted respectfully, splitting assets fairly, unlike my family's disregard. When Emma graduated high school at 18, I attended her ceremony, sitting among other families. Kelly and Mark were there, but we didn't acknowledge each other. Afterward, I gave Emma a card with a $5,000 check for college. For books or a computer, I said. She hugged me tightly. Thank you, Aunt Judy. You've been so good to me, even when I didn't deserve it. You apologized sincerely, I said. That matters. Emma went to college, calling occasionally to share updates. I was proud of her. 3 years after the barbecue. I don't miss my parents, Kelly, or Mark. Emma's the only one I stay connected with, and that's enough. I learned family isn't just blood. It's about respect, love, and kindness. When people reveal their true selves, believe them. My family showed they didn't value me, so I stopped valuing them. I'm happier than ever. The $40,000 I gave Kelly still stings sometimes, but then I think of the $100,000 I donated to charity. Money that helped grateful families in need. That makes it worthwhile. At 48, I have my health, my home, my independence, friends, and purpose. I don't need people who wished I was gone.